Welcome back to Season 2 of FPL Therapy. This is a weekly podcast hosted by me, FPL Raptor, where each week we are joined by a different guest. And I'm delighted to say that for the official Game Week 1 episode, we have two guests today. Not only two of my dearest friends, but also two of the best content creators in the game. We have FPL Focal and FPL Harry. If somehow you have not checked out their channels before and you don't regularly watch their videos, I highly recommend it. Oscar, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. You look like you'd zoned out fully.
I was reading your intro on the PDF.
Okay, did I do it roughly in line with what the intro said?
Well, on that you put FPL Harry and then FPL Focal.
So I messed up the order.
You put me ahead of Harry, which I thought that's fine.
Okay, how are you doing? Harry, you all good?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you.
This is going to be a very unhinged episode with the three of us because we're friends. So I've probably prepared less than I normally would. Shouldn't admit that at the start of the podcast, but there we go. But yeah, definitely make sure to check the two of them out. Also, we've created our own FPL newsletter for this season called FPL Wrap, the three of us. So we wanted to get a little bit into sort of written content, and also we want to do something together on a weekly basis, but we create so many videos every week that that's difficult to commit to. But we are doing a free newsletter this season. It takes 10 seconds to sign up. There'll be a link in the description, or just go to wrapped.tips, sign up there. Our first newsletter for Game Week 1 will be on Thursday at 2 p.m. So make sure to basically enter your email and subscribe before Thursday at 2. We're also doing a premium newsletter as well every Monday, where we're essentially going to have additional bonus content, some of our early plans, and we're going to have additional audio content. This week, Harry did the audio. What was the audio on?
Yeah, I just recorded. I spoke a little bit about, I think there's lots of stuff going on over the weekend about people wondering about Salah and if he's worth the money with not the best performance in the Community Shield. And then I spoke about, it feels like there's a big debate between Watkins, Wirtz and Bruno Fernandes in around the same price. So I sort of discussed that, my thoughts on it, why maybe I've got Bruno in my draft at the moment compared to, I did have Wirtz, who was very popular at the beginning. So every week we'll cover something a little bit interesting depending on what's happened in the weekend of football. So yeah, it was good.
Absolutely. So if you want to support us and sign up for the premium one, go for it. If not, just sign up for the free one. It might be that you don't like it. That's absolutely fine. It takes 10 seconds to sign up. We're very nearly at 10,000 people already signed up. So if you don't want to get left behind and you want that weekly content, do check it out.
I didn't anticipate how expensive newsletters are, because I pitched this to Harry and Ross like 6 months ago, and I was like, we should do this next season. Like, surely let's just give it a go, see what happens. But before it's even Game Week 1, we're already on, what was it, almost 200 quid a month?
Yeah, it's quite expensive to host the newsletter. So yeah, please support us. Yeah. Please do. But yeah, like I said, even if you don't want to, we never expect it. You can just answer the free one and we'd really appreciate that as well.
Yeah, definitely.
A little bit more housekeeping. Please do rate 5-star if you listen on audio. And if you're watching on YouTube, we are trying to push for 20,000 subscribers before Game Week 1. We're a little way off. So please do support by subscribing and dropping a like as well. And then final thing, if you are not yet in the FPL Therapy League, the code will be on your screen right now. It is vgfuri. Please do make sure to join the league. So we're just going to jump into it today. People are here for drafts. People want to see what teams we're rocking at the moment, and they want to understand the justification.
What they want.
Exactly. Give the people what they want. Get rid of all the fluff at the start. Let's just go straight into the teams and give the people what they really want, which is Harry's team.
Yeah.
No one cares about our team.
Yeah, straight exactly. To Harry.
So we're going to start with Harry. Harry's going to be the only one on the thumbnail as well. We're not even on the thumbnail at this rate. So we're going to go with Harry's team first. So do you want to read it out for those on audio and then just talk us through some of the key picks?
Yeah, cool. So I've gone Sanchez in goal with Dubravka, Van der Ven, Van Dijk, Williams of Nottingham Forest at the moment, with Richards of Palace and Estave on the bench, Ilman and Dye, Palmer, Salah, Bruno, Anderson of Forest, then João Pedro, Watkins and Mark Guiu on the bench.
How do you say it? Guiu?
So I've been corrected enough times. It's Guiu. I said Mark Gui for about the first week of him signing.
Also, the Burnley defender is Esteve.
Oh, Esteve.
Esteve. Because I thought you meant the Chelsea player when you said that, I think. That's fine.
Steve.
Okay, right. I'm going to now grill you and ask you about loads of players in that team.
Yeah, cool.
So let's start with Sanchez.
Yeah.
Obviously, Colwill ACL injury. Chalobah limped off, but we think probably okay.
So he's tweeted that he's fine.
Okay, perfect. So just the Colwill injury then. How much will that affect Chelsea's defence? If you have to give it a percentage, or how much of a reduction in their sort of expected points would they now get as a result of that injury?
10.
Okay. So still very good.
Yeah.
You don't think it's going to make a huge difference?
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah, I would say, I would also say I expect us to probably sign someone before the end of the window because of how bad it is. We do have a few.
How bad? You got about 10 centre backs. Hang on.
Yeah. They just signed Hato as well. You've already signed
how many centre backs Chelsea have got.
I think it probably will be Tosin and Chalobah for the start of the season. But even in pre-season, when we saw them playing together, you can tell that they're both right-footed. Like having a left-footed centre-back on that side, I'm not sure he'll put Hato straight in, despite he's actually looked quite good. But because of all of that, unless you're spending 6 million on Cucurella, which I do think is worth considering, Sanchez is just the most reliable way to get into that Chelsea defence. So if you like, even if you cut the fixtures, I think for the first 6 weeks, or if you cut them for like the first 15 weeks, Chelsea are quite near the top no matter where you cut it.
Yep.
So I don't like the goalkeeper. I normally don't like the goalkeepers for game week 1, and I like them even less this year. I can't find any. So I do want a Chelsea defender, defensive player. None of the defenders I like.
Is there any chance, like say Sanchez has a couple of howlers in a row, is there any chance of Jurgensen coming in, or is that
no, not really. I think we got to that point last year and it didn't work. Like Jurgensen is definitely not better, and Sanchez has been at the end of last season, as much as some Chelsea fans, including myself, were pretty doubtful of him.
Yeah,
was really good at the end of last season. Really, really good in the Club World Cup. So no, I don't expect that.
Who would be your starting centre? I know it's difficult to know exactly, but would it be Chalobah and Tosin? Is that your prediction?
For the time being, that would be my prediction. Yeah,
but then you couldn't really go Tosin because when Badia Shield's back, is there a chance he gets minutes? Like what? Because if not, Tosin at 4.5 looks unbelievable.
So because I think there's a chance that Hato eventually plays left centre-back because he's left-footed. I also think there's a chance that we sign a new left-sided centre-back, which then means we go back to the situation where Chalobah and Tosin are competing for one place. Okay. So, yeah, if the transfer window ended in game week 1, then I think you could pick Tosin, but I think there's enough uncertainty there.
Okay, next one I want you to talk to me about, and I think, Oscar, you've got him in your draft, which we'll look at in a second, so either of you can take this. I do not get Van de Ven. I just can't wrap my head around it. So I did the template team where I looked at 500 teams on social media, and I think, Harry, you did like the top 20 teams from people inside the top 100. Loads of people have Van de Ven. Van de Ven was 46%. The only defender that was more highly owned than Van de Ven was a Stev at 47%. So I don't and I'm not saying Van de Ven's bad. Great fixtures for Spurs. They will improve under Thomas Frank. Yeah. He's got a bit of attacking threat. He's a tall guy. He might get some DEFCON, but last year he was at like 6 point something CBIT per 90. Never really shown consistent attacking threat. I still think if you look at Brentford under Thomas Frank, they were good, but they weren't known for defensive solidity. Yeah. I guess it's the Burnley fixture in game week 1. You want someone that starts the season well, but if I'm looking at like Van de Ven versus Juve, like that's not even remotely close for me. Like I would pick Juve 100 times out of 100.
I expect Spurs to be a better defense. For me, it's a few things. Number one, like Van de Ven's got Burnley home. Number two, like I know like the Brentford aren't a rock solid defense, but I think Frank will improve them compared to how they were under Ange. And thirdly, and I haven't seen Harry's team till now, so I'm not copying, but he's got Richards. And I had the same idea with Guay. They rotate quite nicely. Okay. So there's that as well.
Okay, so I guess if you're not starting him every week, then it doesn't look quite
not every week.
Exactly.
Definitely not.
Okay.
I think it is the fixtures mainly. And like, although Brentford were not great, if you actually look at some of the Brentford defenders, they were pretty good for points last year. So like Collins, if Brentford were the same team as they were last year, I think Collins would be really highly owned at 5 million. It was great for attacking returns. His DEFCON was really good. And actually, if you look at a few of the others, they're pretty good for defensive contribution. So I am expecting an improvement in them. I would like Porro. We'll talk about him.
I do wonder if Romero's going under the radar. When I looked at DEFCON last year, Romero was super high and he's in that really awkward, he's 5 million, doesn't have the attacking threat of Porro, doesn't have the price of Van de Ven. Yeah. So he's sort of going under the radar. I do wonder if he might sneaky be a bit like Lacroix at Crystal Palace. Lots of people go Munoz or Richards. Lots of people go Van de Ven or Porro. Yeah. I wonder if those 2 5s are going to end up being the ones that and even like you say, even a Collins, like there are lots of 5 million defenders that are just not being picked. It's either you go the 5/5s or above, or you go the 4/5. So I think keep an eye out there. Speaking of 5s, you've got Nico Williams. They seem to be trying to sign multiple left backs. So Leif Davis, they were preparing a bid. I've not seen if that's been submitted. Yeah. They're looking at Simicas as well, apparently, to come in with Premier League experience. Neither of those touch Nico Williams or Olarina. So very clearly, Williams and Olarina are first choice. But is there any worry for you with obviously having Europe, being able to rotate him in and out? I think he started 18 of the last 19 Premier League games last season, so he's nailed.
Yeah, it's just the 0.5 saving, and he was good. He was all right for DEFCON, better than Aina and cheaper than the centre-backs that we've got. And the other thing we've heard today that Forest are not going to have to play Conference League playoffs because the Palace appeal has been rejected. So Forest are in the Europa League. So no midweek games between 2 and 3, which is good to hear.
Can you explain a bit more detail? Because I think people don't know about those Conference League games. So.
Yeah, so in between game week 1 and game week 2, and then in between game week 2 and game week 3, our Conference League team from the Premier League have to play playoffs. It was going to be Forest, but because of Crystal Palace being removed from the Europa League, it's then swapped. So Palace are now in the Conference League and they have to play. So when you are considering a Palace player, you do realise they've got to play in the midweeks of 1 and 2 and then also 2 and 3 as well, which actually boosts Forest, not only because they don't do it. In game week 2, they play Palace.
Yeah.
So it is a big swing that I like Forest a little bit more. If I could find 0.5, I would love to go up to one of the centre-backs, particularly because once Champions League does start, then I think we will, like even if he starts, he's then only playing 70. And normally you think for a defender, like we've been in the situation in the past that a defender playing 70 is fine because they might get a clean sheet. But with DEFCON now, you need defenders who play 90 if you want to get it, unless your name's Tarkowski, who gets it after about 60 minutes as he did at the weekend.
I see a lot of people doing this, and I kind of made the mistake, I think, in early content. I was like, CBIT per 90 for this player. And then I looked at every player on a table. I had like 12, and none of them got 90 minutes. And I was like, so yeah, they might be getting 11 on average, but if they get 70 minutes, then they're never going to achieve that. So I think looking at actually how many DEFCON points they would have achieved last year, or factoring in minutes, is incredibly important. Sticking with the defense, I guess these are the most questions I have. You've got Van Dijk in there. I think he would have picked up something like 22 DEFCON points last season, so he would have been pretty good. He's obviously playing for at least top 3 defense, arguably one of the better defenses, but they've signed Kerkez, Frimpong. Pre-season, they've looked anything other than solid at the back. Van Dijk is getting on. There have been slight mistakes creeping into his play. Konate is injury prone and also, again, prone to the odd mistake here and there. I don't think they're a bad defense per se, but 6 million for a centre-back who doesn't even really get attacking returns anymore. Like, I had this debate last year, and I got absolutely destroyed by Liverpool fans because they get trying to function this FPL side, by the way. I'm just looking at all these filters to try.
I've got some like browser add-ons to like change the whole layout out. It's just terrible. A disaster.
Anyway, so
I'm not looking forward to the first stream where I've got to try and deal with it in front of everyone.
So they've changed the filters, but now why are the teams not in the right order? Well, they are this way. I feel like that is just not the... So I'm looking for Liverpool here, and they're... Anyway,
it used to be a list, didn't it? Like just one long list.
Anyway, what I was trying to do was navigate to Van Dijk and just show you that his attacking returns in the last 5 seasons, 4 attacking returns last year, 4, 4, 6, 1. The 2 seasons before that, he had 7 and 8. That was when we were looking at a player that was like Gabriel, like getting 4 or 5 goals a season. But he hasn't achieved more than 3 goals in a season since 2019.
But it's different this season, isn't it? We always used to look towards Trent because he would cost more and you'd have, more chance of getting new goal involvements. Whereas Van Dijk was just, he's going to play 90 every game, like steady over the season. He'll generally finish well. Yeah, I'm actually not sold on them either for the reasons you mentioned, like the age, like the defense has changed quite a lot.
I could see them
this season.
Yeah, I could see them conceding all 3 of those
and the fixtures
games
as well.
Yeah.
They've got, I think they play against us, Arsenal. Few game weeks in. What's the other one? Newcastle
away,
And even Bournemouth, they're not a bad attack. They're not. They look all over the place defensively, but I don't think all 3 of those teams could easily score.
The other thing I think on him is we're all picking him because his DEFCON last year was really good. But I do wonder a little bit, like, 22, but if you compare it to the other 6 million, he's much better. But the question is why? Like, you could easily see that he just regresses to the same DEFCON as all the other 6 millions. Like, why is Van Dijk getting so much more DEFCON than Konate or a Gabriel or a Saliba? Like, is that one of the things that isn't sustainable in terms of DEFCON? Like, there are some things that you look at and there might be a change in system that changes who gets it. For example, like if Murillo or Milenkovic changes who's defending the front post, suddenly Milenkovic gets all the clearances from corners and suddenly he's much better. So you've got to understand that we might not get exactly the same. And I think Van Dijk might be one of the ones that we just see a big decrease in if they keep the ball better than they did last year.
Well, again, and if he's getting lots of DEFCON, it's probably because Liverpool are having to defend a hell of a lot, probably, which again would just mean less clean sheets. I don't think Van Dijk's a bad pick at all. He's arguably still one of my favourite 6s if you're looking long term. I just know the way that I play, and I think now if I put a Liverpool defender in, it's Frimpong.
I was going to say, because Bradley wasn't in the squad for the Community Shield.
But this is why we don't consistently get the ranks that Harry does, because Harry pulled a face and me and you were like, yeah, Frimpong.
No, I'm saying if Bradley's out, let's say like he's out for 2 months or something, I'm sure by the time this goes out, we'll know like he's fine. But hypothetically, I think that would then make Frimpong way, way better than Van Dijk.
What about if Bradley's like a major doubt, but we don't know how long he's out for? Let's say he could be back for game week. I think when you go into game week 1, you have to know as much as possible and have confidence in the players you're picking and not leaving anything up for question, because all it takes is like 2 or 3 things to go wrong and like your team's falling apart early on. Okay.
The reason I pulled a face is I've been really negative on Frimpong, like all preseason. He hasn't gone anywhere near my drafts. I've hardly ever considered him. And I pulled a face because I actually wonder if I've got that wrong. Because if Bradley is out at 6 million, like he's got to be in.
Yeah.
If we get to it, Bradley's out for 2 months.
For a while,
I can't see a world in which I don't pick him.
I feel the same a bit about Ryan Aït-Nouri as well. I'm like, have I just incorrectly overlooked a guy that last season was unreal playing for Wolves?
Like, City fans think he's going straight in and he'll play every week.
Well, and the thing is, if you watch the left back in Pep's system in recent times, like Nico O'Reilly, and you've had Gvardiol playing the role as well. Like Gvardiol in that game against Spurs last season, it strikes me because it was the one game he moved back into left back. He had over 1 XGI. And that wasn't from like one big chance. It was just like multiple chances that he's just getting. So I think that left wing back spot in that City team, I do look at Frimpong, and it maybe even Kerkez to some extent. It's like, are we overlooking these more attacking players for the likes of Van Dijk, Gvardiol, Gabriel? I guess it comes back to DEFCON versus minutes versus like upside as well. On the 5-5 mids, you've got Anderson in there.
Yeah.
If you look at
Anderson,
if you look at models and algorithms, they'll all prefer Anderson, right? Because you've got good minutes, good clean sheet potential for the odd clean sheet point, good DEFCON potential. He takes some set pieces, creativity. I think he had like 6 assists last season.
Yeah.
And the opening fixtures are unreal. If you don't have to play him against Arsenal in Game Week 4, sensational. Do you think you'll end up with Anderson in your Game Week 1 team? Boring. Sorry.
I know it's the bandwagon of the weekend, but I'm really interested in Reinders because I look at my team and I've got no City.
Yep.
And I'm trying to, I know we don't want to, like, coverage isn't a thing and you don't want to just pick a player because he plays for Man City, but I do wonder about him at 5.5. Like, his Serie A data is so good. Forest has 1 goal in all of preseason in 7 matches.
Yeah.
And then if I don't have reliability on anyone else, I'll probably end up with him.
I think the goals aren't too much of a problem with Anderson because you're counting on him mainly for DEFCONs anyway. You're not looking to him like already
and like
needing to get a goal or assist. There's going to be a lot of 2 and 4 pointers from him over the season, but it adds up. That's going to be hard actually. We have to be so patient, I think, with these kind of DEFCON picks because you're constantly you're looking for goals and assists every game week, and there's going to be weeks where you're going to get 2, 4, 2, 5, and it's just going to be that slow, boring trickle of points that will add up over a season. But I think that's something we're going to have to adjust, I think, of how we approach this season, being patient with those.
Yeah, you make such a good point because I think the worst thing you could possibly do is try and switch strategies multiple points in the season. If you're starting with DEFCON centre-backs and DEFCON midfielders, you stick with that for the whole season. Because what you don't want to do is like pick Anderson for a few weeks and go, this DEFCON's not for me, and then switch to a Dingra, and then go, oh, actually, he's not getting the attacking returns. Anderson's ticking along, let me go back. You just need to kind of pick your strategy. Are you going to chase the upside all season with the likes of Juve and, again, a Dingra and all of these players like Arias that might have the attacking threat? Or are you going to stick all season to the 2 Andersons in defence and midfield? I think you should have a think about what your sort of philosophy and strategy for the season might be. Sticking on Chelsea, 2 players, João Pedro and Esteval. I think that's how it's pronounced. Start with João Pedro.
Yep.
In your team. Not sure if he's going to stay in your team.
Yeah. I think he's one because he's 7.5. If I want money to do anything, like if I wanted to upgrade Van der Ven or if I wanted to go from Anderson to a 6 million, for example, João Pedro is the obvious place for me to get money, I think.
Yeah.
Like he's just, every time he gets on the pitch for us, he scores goals. We look so much better with him in the team. He's got such an eye for goal, but he's not on pens and he's going to play 70 minutes every week. So that's the concern. And when Champions League does start, then what happens? Like Delap also has looked really good in preseason. We have 2 very good forwards who are going to be fed and link well with a midfield that looks like they want to create enough chances. So I think the Chelsea forwards this year will score an awful lot of goals, but it's just how often he shares the minutes. I
keep getting told by everyone in my it's like for some reason it's the bandwagon at the moment. Esteval is going to be the best 6.5. He's the only one to pick.
Is he 6.5?
Is that what he is?
I don't think he's going to start.
No, that's what I thought. Isn't it Gittins? Isn't he going to start ahead of him?
I think Gittins will play on the left.
So what am I missing then?
Esteval's right wing, but you got, depends what Palmer is. It's just, he won't get, it looks really, really good, but I don't think he'll be a regular starter.
Yeah, and even if he is starting, like they've just got so many players that can play.
Well, Neto is like locked. Neto has been so good for us. I can't see, particularly at the start of the season, I do not see that changing. And I think Gittins will play on the left.
Okay. Well, there you go. Everyone in the comments that keeps.
But I don't think you can pick. I don't think you can pick any Chelsea winger.
Okay, so the 3 Chelsea players then really are, as you've got Sanchez, Palmer, João Pedro. Is there any concern for you if you were to go with all 3 of those that you're blocking a possible other option that might emerge, or are you just pretty comfortable that they're the 3? I mean, Enzo Fernandez is a player that might not be bad at 6.5. I always seem to rate him higher than other people do, but I feel like he could even do fairly well this season.
Depends if you guys sign, I don't know if it's still happening, Xavi, Simons.
It sounds like we're going to try and get a Nkunku trade deal with.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, because I think that would be bad news for Enzo as an FPL asset if that happens. Probably be playing the same position, so Enzo deeper.
Yeah.
Okay. All right then. So what can you see potentially changing before Game Week 1? Obviously, we don't know what's going to happen across the next few days, but where are the positions that feel least kind of locked to you?
I would say I'm still moving my defenders around all the time. The money I spend in defense is probably going to be pretty similar to it is now. And then it's if I just drop João Pedro down a bit just to try and get a little bit more money. I think that is the big decision. Do I want... Because the defense that I would love is Porro, Munoz, Milenkovic. And I can't afford that unless I sell João Pedro.
Why Milenkovic over Murillo?
Because actually, if you look at their DEFCON, particularly for the second half of the season, there's not that much between it, and you never know, a small tweak. I think his goal threat is really good.
That big old Serbian just like throwing himself at corners. Like when you watch them, it's even if you ignore like data, eye test wise, Murillo is fine in the air, but like Milenkovic launches. It's like when you watch Gabriel and Saliba, you know, from a corner, it's just like Gabriel just wants to be on the end of it.
It's something to look forward to every time they win a corner.
Exactly. I mean, a little teaser for my draft coming, but I've got Milenkovic for that reason. I think DEFCON wise, like keep looking at last season, and I think last season is great. It's a really useful sample, but like as Harry says, who's to say that one small tweak, maybe they say that for this, like Murillo just drops a little bit deeper and Milenkovic attacks the ball more from sort of stuff, you know?
I was looking at Tom Hadley on Twitter. He's been doing,
big shout out to Tom.
Yeah, loads of good stuff. And he did a really interesting graphic about most double-digit returns from defenders to try and look at whether DEFCON defenders or attacking defenders are better. And there's basically a whole mix, right? You've got a load of DEFCON. But what I did think was interesting is the DEFCON defenders, their highest throughout the season was like an 11 and a 12. Whereas if you look at the attacking ones, like a Kukurea, like a Milenkovic, like a 8 Nori, they've all got 15, 16, 17 pointers in them. So I do still think there is something to say about, you know, the attacking return plus a clean sheet. You're going to get a 15 pointer from a Milenkovic, whereas you're not going to get it from Murillo as much.
I'm glad you mentioned Kukurea. For some reason, completely slipped my mind. I do wonder if Kukurea is just worth the extra mil on Sanchez. Like, I feel Kukurea is going to sign under the radar.
Yeah, I really want him. Like he's
he
like
might be the best 6 million slightly, which is crazy to say.
Yeah. It's like the right back often inverts, but he's the one, like you always see him popping up edge of the box, like whether he's cutting in a pass
and he
or
gets
on the end of a
involved.
cross.
I don't know, be heavy on DEFCON. I've not even looked at his data, but he gets involved enough to potentially in some games.
I think he scored about 5 goals last season, and he's going to probably score similarly this season.
He got the back-to-back 15 pointers, didn't he?
He was really advanced in the game I saw on Friday night in pre-season. I imagine he scores 15 points in the first 10 weeks.
Bold statement. You heard it here first.
I already want to put him back in.
I know.
It's the Sanchez problem as well. Like if you go João Pedro, then you can't.
But also, I need another goalkeeper.
Sells.
Yeah.
But then Sells is just not as good.
I think Sanchez is by far the best 5 mil keeper. Sanchez is.
I massively agree. But the thing is with Sells, because the defenders are now so good because of DEFCON, I don't like Sells as much.
Actually, you can't do that in draft. Oscar's got to ruin his draft, I think, to be able to get. We'll discuss in a second to get Kukurea in there, I think, potentially. But yeah, I do think Sells is fine, though. It's weird because I've had this narrative throughout pre-season that I think there's going to be a huge drop-off in Forest. Defensively, attack, I just think they're going to have a much tougher season. I could see them finishing 13th, 14th. Like, I really think they're going to struggle. And then they keep 5 clean sheets.
I've seen it so many times over the years when a team has like
because it's not sustainable. Literally, it's just defend. Like that isn't as good as you can be at defending. It's just not, I don't think, a sustainable model. And we saw that last season when teams found ways to break them down. And so I then look at preseason, they keep 5 clean sheets in 7 against some decent teams, but I think Prem teams started to find ways to score against them. And I can't see that much has changed. So I'm definitely going to have a Forest defender, especially given their fixtures, but I wouldn't be surprised if in the first 6 Forest get like 1 or 2 clean sheets and we're like, there's a bit of a drop off here.
Yeah. And
they're not going to score goals as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if the trap of the first few game weeks is actually all of us going triple Forest. I say that as someone that at the moment has triple Forest, though, in a lot of my drafts. Cool, right, let's move on to your team, Oscar.
Yep.
Do you want to read it out for those on audio? And then I think in the starting 11, there's only 3 differences to Harry's.
Welcome back for another video. So I've got Sanchez, Murillo, Vardiol, Van der Ven. It's a 3-4-3. And then it's Salah, Palmer, Bruno, Anderson, Watkins, João Pedro, and Thiago.
Okay, so there's 4 differences. So the differences are Murillo versus Williams. So you've got that extra 0.5 there.
Yep.
Vardiol versus Van Dijk. So just a different 6 million.
Yeah.
And then you've got Thiago rather than his Njai.
That's more or less it. And then because Thiago's 0.5 cheaper than who do you have? Ndai,
yeah. So then upgraded Williams to Murillo.
And then you have King, who's been getting good minutes actually in pre-season, hasn't he?
So it really comes down to Thiago and like my confidence in him, like as we get to Game Week 1, because I think if he's definitely going to be the main man, I think he's great for 6 mil, probably the best 6 mil striker. I don't mind full crew, but I think he'll be better if he's definitely going to be their number 9, and they're looking to sign a backup to him if Wissa leaves. But yeah, we'll have to see like what happens before the Game Week 1 deadline. Like, you know, so if it all falls through, Wissa stays or something else, I don't think that will happen, but yeah, he's one spot that could easily see me go back to a 3-5-2.
I think below Strand Larsen, there isn't a single safe good pick. I think Thiago's a slight risk, Fulkrug's a slight risk, Beto, Barry, you can't really go there. Peru, they're looking to sign Leeds another number 9. You can't go for Muniz, because Raul Jimenez has started most of the preseason games. It's like there isn't a sub Strand Larsen forward that I think stands out.
Why do you think Fulkrug's a risk?
I think Fulkrug's a risk because his injury record last season was pretty poor. Like he struggled.
But when he's available...
Last season, even when he was available, he wasn't getting 90. He was just coming off early all the time.
I think for starts, he's probably very reliable.
Yeah,
at the start.
Yeah. I just don't think he's going to get 90 often enough. And I've got Wilson. Bowen can play up top.
I think to the first international break, you're fine. I think the first 3 weeks, he's fine. But I think by that time, you'd expect Wilson to be, if it's even possible for him, to be up to full fitness or at least close to it. I do think there's a world where they could play Paquetá and Bowen as a front two, but that's pretty weak, isn't it? I think they need a number 9 there. So, I mean, you'll see in a second Fulkrug's in my team for that reason. But I do think Thiago in the long term is, assuming Wissa leaves and they don't sign a better player than Thiago. I think Thiago's the safer.
That's exactly it. I think, like, don't get me wrong, Game Week 1, Sunderland, I could easily see Fulkrug getting a goal, maybe more than that. It's just like long term, who's going to get me the points? Because I'm looking, when I'm picking a Game Week 1 team, I don't want to make any changes. Like, if I could not touch this team for 38 game weeks, that would be ideal. Yeah. Obviously, that's not how it happens, but I'm trying to think like long term.
Imagine the content. We've got double,
just in Game Week 1. We've got double chips to play.
Well, I'll come back for another video. I'm going to be rolling again this week.
Game Week 27. I'm yet to use my first transfer. I didn't use any chips.
Bench boost active, but I did deactivate it because I'm going to save it.
God, yeah, that would be content creation hell. It's funny, I was doing a pod with Above Average and he picked a team and he was like, I definitely would roll this for the first 5 weeks. Like, good luck with content. Like, yeah, that'd be wrong. Okay, so I'll ask the same question that I asked to Harry. Looking at your team as things stand, what... Actually, no, I want to ask about Gvardiol first. Wasn't in the latest squad.
Yeah.
Also, move to centre-back means less attacking threat. Also, City don't defend enough to get DEFCON. I've gone back and forth on Gvardiol. Yeah. Do you still really rate him as a pick, or are you still up in the on that 6 million spot?
I really don't like that he wasn't in the Palermo squad. That's like a bit worrying now. I think he probably still starts in Game Week 1, but it's just like, I think when I look at the other 6 mil defenders, except Cucurella, but I can't go for him because I'm tripled up. Van Dijk, Arsenal, like Gabriel, not massive fan of the fixtures. They get better a bit more further into the season, but Gvardiol, assuming he plays every game, I just think he's got the fixtures to make up for lower DEFCONs. I think obviously he could get more DEFCONs now he's in centre back. Like the measurements for last season need context. When he's left back, he's not getting them.
I just don't know that City, like if you look at the City centre backs that played last year, I just don't know that they defend enough to get the DEFCON. However, as I said, you've actually got a nice route for Cucurella. So how about Sells and Cucurella instead of Sanchez and Gvardiol?
Yeah, then it's double Forest defence though, isn't it? So
which I don't mind with the opening fixtures though.
Yeah, it could work.
Or you save an extra 0.5 and you just do something like a Verbruggen and Cucurella kind of combo. So you go for 4-5. That would give you enough to do Thiago to Strand Larsen as well, who's your boy, of course.
I don't know. Like I was saying, I think Sanchez is like easily the best 5 mil keeper, assuming he keeps playing. And so I wouldn't want to go to another and I wouldn't want to downgrade. So it's just the combinations, isn't it? If I lost João Pedro, I wouldn't be opposed to doubling up with Cucurella at the back. Like I did tinker with like Cole and Sanchez in a few drafts, but this is where I've landed. And João Pedro, it's like what Harry was saying, like he's not going to get 90 every game, but the fixtures are really good. Yeah. Like he's been delivering with limited minutes so far. And I'm not so keen on Wood now, just based on what we've seen in pre-season. I mean, don't get me wrong, that might not even translate over to Game Week 1, but it could be what we start to see, just fewer goals. They try and control games more. So it's him or Mateta, I think, is if I'm going to pick a 7.5.
Mateta's really underrated at the moment. And that's not just off the back of the Community Shield, but that helps, obviously. Seeing him score 2 pens in a game where Eze missed his only pen.
Yeah, exactly.
We know that Eze, and Eze's never been the most confident penalty taker. Even for England, I remember he didn't step up and take one of the first 5 pens, which says a lot. I think he's not necessarily, especially in those, I think, under pressure moments. The first pen that Mateta took last season, I think, was in extra time. And they needed to score it to win. Mateta just stepped up and took it. Eze didn't even look like he half wanted it. So, and also is even going to be at Palace in the short term or long term. So I think Mateta's probably underrated. I think models and algorithms are going to start jumping on him if his pen share goes up.
Yeah, it's the pen share, I did a video like tracking the output of players in pre-season, and he's literally got the most goal involvements every player in the league. 5 goals, 2 assists he's got.
7 attacking returns.
Watkins has got 6. He's got 5 goals, 1 assist. Harry Wilson, I don't think I'm going to go there. I know he was in some of your drafts.
He was in my draft a week and a half ago, and people hated it.
He got rinsed for the Wilson pick, and then he took him out.
I don't mind it.
Yeah. He's taking set pieces as well. I don't think I'll do it, but
a few other ones. Bruno, 3 goals, 2 assists. Marlon, 2 goals, 3 assists. And Gakpo, 4 goals, 1 assist. So those 3 got 5 goal involvements.
Okay, well, here's a question for both of you then. You've just reminded me, no Florian Wirtz. Is it just a case of you can't have Bruno and Wirtz and you think Bruno's better?
Yeah, that's it for me. I think they'll both do really well this season. Bruno, I think like we saw last season, he would have got DEFCON points 11 times, so an extra 22 points, which is really good considering he's also like super attacking, consistent, pens, free kicks, corners. It's really close between them because of the 0.5, but I think Bruno just makes sense because he's also like completely proven. You know what you're going to get from him. Better attack in front of him. Actually, I want to ask you that as a Man United fan. Do you think with these new players that have been signed, will he play deeper? Will it affect his output, or is he still the great asset he's always been?
It's really difficult to know because we just don't know how these players are going to gel as well. Like we saw everyone in the team together. Obviously, we didn't see Sesko, but we saw Bruno, Cunha, and Burma. And like when you watched them, it was like, oh, these players are good, but there's a little bit of like working out. Like Cunha and Bruno are exactly the same player in build-up. They both are desperate to get on the ball. The amount of times I've watched in the games they've played, but they both drop into the same pocket to receive the ball, and then one of them's like, oh, I need to get out the way because you're also in this pocket. So I think it's going to take a bit of time for Bruno to adapt to not always being the one that has the ball at his feet. What that should mean, if Cunha keeps doing that, and he's done it a lot in pre-season where he drops in, if Bruno's in the pivot or not, that should allow Bruno to get closer to goal. So he might not be on the ball as much. You might watch games where for 5-10 minutes he's not doing everything like he normally is. The most important thing is he will drop into the pivot now. He can't play as a 10 because we've got Sesko, Cunha, and Burmo, right? So there's no way that he plays there unless one of those three regularly isn't playing, which would be crazy.
But I think it's reasonable that one of those three doesn't play 90 every week.
Absolutely. So in later games, Bruno pushes up. But what I think is really important is Bruno in the pivot isn't Rodri or Kante. Like he's not a CDM. So even in the pivot, as soon as we get the ball, he's already basically in a number 10 role. I've never seen Bruno just sit there and just spray passes the whole game. He'll drop deep. He'll drop in between the centre-backs at points. But for most of the game, when we have the ball, he's in an advanced 10 role. So I don't mind him in the pivot. And the thing is, all it means is when we're defending, he has to do more defensive work, which is great for DEFCON. But when we're attacking, he's going to be the same player. So yeah, and as Harry says, there's no way all three of those play 90 minutes. And as soon as one of those goes off, I'd be very surprised if it's not Bruno that pushes into the 10. And someone like, if it's Ugarte, Mainu, or Casemiro, whoever doesn't start, they'll come on and they'll drop into the pivot. And it would just unleash Bruno late in the game. So when I look at like in the last preseason game, he would have got a 10-pointer from a single assist. He got an assist. He got the 2 DEFCON points. It was a 1-1 draw where no other players really did anything. So he would have got at least 2 bonus, maybe 3. Bruno can get a 10-pointer from a single assist. That's bonkers. And chuck a penalty in there. Bruno can come over 15 points having a terrible game. There's not many players out there that can do that.
I just think if one of them was going to hit, if I asked you, one of them's going to hit 200 points this season, I think Bruno's the much easier answer.
What would it, like 193 points was it last season with DEFCON? I did something
and United were dreadful.
And we were rubbish. And even Bruno had at points tough. It was a tough season for him as well, I think, overall. So, yeah, I think Bruno will clear 200, unless he obviously picks up an injury, which is very unlikely with him.
Which at 9 million, if he's going to hit 200 points. Yeah, and the other thing I like on Bruno is game week 3 is Arsenal,
I'd captain
Liverpool.
him. Yeah.
Bruno has Burnley at home that week.
Captain.
So I wonder if he's a better captain, which you don't get if you go with Wirtz.
Who have you got? Game week 3?
Fulham at home, but with the early kickoff, and it might be the earliest game of the game week. Because at the moment, the Friday night is Villa Palace. Ow.
Do you subscribe to that early kickoff thing?
No, but I'd rather, like if I had a choice, I'd rather not.
It's for enjoyment rather than there actually being
enjoyment.
Yeah, for enjoyment purposes.
I was talking about Gandhi's rule.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Right, let's look at my team then, or 2 teams. So what I'm struggling with at the moment, and I'm expecting you to talk me out of it, is I want to go without Salah. I want to. Like in my heart, I want to do it.
And
I think it works.
A great idea.
It worked so well last season going without Haaland at the start.
We say that so smugly. Like for all we know, like no Salah could be the solution. Like,
I actually think it is.
Like last season, Haaland was the one that ripped it up.
You said the same last year.
I did, but
you said,
after game week 5, but after game week 5, I was proved right. After game week 5, no one went back to Haaland for the entire season, so it was like I was right. Just I needed 5 game weeks to get punished.
That'd be so funny if you're right again this season, you get it the wrong way around again.
Yeah, exactly. I made this anyway. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my Salah draft because I actually think it's a really nice draft and I'm actually genuinely quite happy with it. And then I'll show you minimal changes of what I can do if I drop Salah. But then we'll also discuss, you could then drop Salah, go Haaland, or you could drop Salah and Haaland and go bench boost one. Like dropping Salah gives you like 5 different alternative drafts. So we'll kind of have a bit of a discussion around them. So my Salah draft, and at the moment the draft that is currently sat in my app, is Sells in goal, Pedro Porro, Milenkovic, and Juve. So I did Sells to Sanchez just because I'm a little bit worried, but you might have convinced me both to go back to Sanchez. But a 5 goalkeeper, Porro, Milenkovic, Juve. A midfield 5 of Salah, Palmer, Bruno, Wirtz, and then at the moment it has to be Juve, Brihol. I can't afford a 5-5. And then a front 2 of Watkins and Fulkrug. On the bench, I've got Dubravka, Dorgu, Guiu, and Estev. So like if I go through this team, yeah, it's nice. It's a little bit off balanced, right? Because I've not got a 6 million defender. Immediately, I don't know if it's a huge concern for me because I've got Porro and Milenkovic, but I would like to have a premium defender. In the midfield, I would like a 5-5 midfielder. I think Reinders, Anderson, Arias. I like a lot of the 5-5 midfielders. And I just don't know fully with Everton signing Grealish. They're looking for other players as well. Is Dewsbury Hall going to drop into the pivot or potentially be a little bit rotated? In this team, I've basically got to play Dewsbury Hall every week. And then my front two is Watkins and Fulkrug. So I've had to drop João Pedro and other 7.5 million forwards out. So then when you look at that overall, it looks okay, but it's got no premium defender. And I'm starting a 5 million and a 6 million attacker every single week. But my 5 other attackers are Salah, Palmer, Fernandes, Wirtz, and Watkins.
I really like Porro, by the way. I forgot to mention him. Like he's one player definitely could still end up in my team because obviously
he's got everything, hasn't he?
Yeah,
a bit of everything.
And obviously Maddison picked up the ACL injury, so we'll probably see Porro in corners again.
He's taken all right-footed set pieces, and then I think Kudus is taking the other side. But yeah, he's still taking
in pre-season. Yeah,
Kudus was taking a lot of set pieces in pre-season.
Yeah. So exactly.
But Porro's taken them. Yeah, and also I think it was Tom Hadley again. We're just giving Tom Hadley loads of shout-outs. Feel free to follow him on X. He posted the DEFCON for the Bayern Munich and Arsenal games. Porro was the only player that got DEFCON in both games.
Wow.
So he's that sort of player. Reminds me of Cucurella where he gets stuck in. Yeah. Porro's not the sort of fullback or wingback that will just sit there and do nothing. My only concern was, will Thomas Frank prefer him to a Spence Udogie situation? We still don't fully know that, but in pre-season, it's felt very much like Frank trusts Porro. Yeah. He's been playing a lot of 90 minutes. So yeah, I like Porro. I like Milenkovic for the reasons we said. Slightly lower DEFCON than Murillo, but slightly more attacking threat. And I think I'd rather chase the upside. And I've chucked Juve and Dorgu in. Honestly, Anderson and Richards are probably better picks on paper. The models will not tell you to go Juve and Dorgu, but it's a bit of fun. Like I just like having a bit of fun with my 4.5s. So I feel like that defense has a bit of everything. Really, if Dewsbury Hall was Rodgers in this team, that's a 12 out of 10 team. If you gave me an extra 2 million, it's great. Even if you gave me an extra 0.5. And if Dewsbury Hall was Anderson in this team, if you gave me 0.5, then I think that's a great, I'd basically just lock it in ahead of game week 1. I think that's that good. But Dewsbury Hall isn't. So now I've got options. Milenkovic down to Williams, but then you've got that slight risk we spoke about, upgrade Dewsbury Hall, or Fulkrug down to a 5-5, but they're all very risky. Or you go super cheap on the bench and drop Dorgu down to Rodon or something like that. But then I'd have to start Juve, Milenkovic, Pedro Porro every single week as well as the 5-5. But this draft's really, really strong.
Yeah.
Then I'm watching Salah. And I said something very disrespectful in today's video, which is I haven't been impressed with Salah since December 24. I don't mean that he's been terrible, but there haven't been many performances where he's accumulated like over 1 XGI and he's been like hogging all the big chances.
Sorry, December 24?
Yeah.
Or December last...
So
hang on, what year are we in?
We're in 25. I'm not saying over like
sorry, I was like 18 months. He's just hit the best FPL season we've ever had.
Since the turn into 25, his data's dropped off. His attacking returns have. I still think so. I think Salah's incredibly creative.
What happened on December 24th?
No, December 24, 2024. God, we've descended into chaos. I guess what I'm saying is in 2025, we've not seen Salah's best. I put that down to he'd signed his contract, so he was like, didn't have to go full out. We know that Liverpool had essentially won the league. There were enough reasons to just say, and he had such a good start to the season. Like it's difficult to sustain those numbers. Salah is still the best asset in the game. I have no doubt about that. It's just about, does he justify that? This is the same chat I had about Haaland in game week 1 last season. Does he justify the price? And what can you do if you go without? So on your screen now is a no Salah draft. And I've tried to keep it very minimal, the changes, because what you could do is go Salah down all the way to a 6-5 and then like spread the money, have a super strong bench, 2 5 million goalkeepers. But what I've tried to do is like keep it almost identical.
Just on Dewsbury Hall, sorry to cut you off. When I was on the train here, I saw the Here We Go from Fabrizio and Grealish.
Yeah.
So like, how does that affect him? How does that team line up?
Most people seem to think it'll be Grealish left, Njai right, Dewsbury Hall 10, or
can he play on the right, Njai?
He can play everywhere. He's that good.
Okay. Yeah, but he hardly ever has. I saw this and I looked online and he's hardly ever played on the right.
Or Dewsbury Hall into pivot.
Yeah, I think that's more like
and playing like an 8 role.
Because he was playing as a 10 the other day. I didn't watch the game, but people were tweeting about it and he was on corners apparently.
Yeah. So I still think he'll be on corners because it sounds like McNeil will not be in the first choice 11. So I still think he'll take set pieces. I still think he'll start most games. But yeah, this is the issue. This is why I'd rather a 5-5. But the team you can see on your screen now is the no Salah draft. And again, I've tried to keep the changes minimal. So I've done Salah to Saka, Dewsbury Hall to Reinders, Fulkrug to João Pedro, and then that's given me the money to do Guiu up to even Ilson.
Oh, you didn't even put Haaland in. What is the point in this team?
So this is a
the point of this.
Well, I almost think
it's going to be a Haaland team.
I almost think what's the point in doing a Haaland team?
Okay.
Because the whole point of selling Salah is to have a better squad. And if you go Haaland, you have the same squad. Right? And I just think Salah's better than Haaland is the concern that I have. So it's like, I don't get the point. I don't get the point in doing a Haaland squad, but I think the point of dropping Salah is to spread the funds, right? So that then makes the front 7 Saka, Palmer, Fernandes, Wirtz, Reinders, Watkins, João Pedro. So I've essentially upgraded Dewsbury Hall to Reinders. I've been able to upgrade Fulcrum to João Pedro, and I've given myself Evan Nilsson as opposed to Guiu.
I like Evan Nilsson. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I think that gives you so much more. So that means moving forward then, these two are just, can we mute their mics from the rest of the podcast? So I think this is a fine draft. But then part of me says, as you say, what is the point if you're going to drop both Haaland and Salah? Do you then have to commit to a bench boost one, really? Go like 15 good players and like get the chip done? Because if you're not going with the 2 most expensive players, but my bench also sucks.
Game week 2, surely. If you're going to bench boost early on. Yeah, I mean, I've not looked at it loads, but it feels like you can get to Bravko if he is the starter for Burnley.
My issue with bench boost too is all of the good defenders don't have good fixtures in 1 or 2. I would want Juve and Pedro Porro. They've got Chelsea and City in game week 2.
Yeah.
So then I'm also then changing my defenders around. So I don't know. I feel like right now I do want to go without Salah, but I don't think a Haaland draft is that much stronger. So I don't see myself as much doing that. Yeah. If I drop Salah and Haaland, it looks good, but then I'm worried about captaincy. Who do I captain in game week 1?
Yeah, captaincy. And I think
game week 2, 3, 4, 5, I think there are good captains outside of Salah and Haaland. I really do. But game week 1, I don't feel comfortable with any of them.
Who are you captaining game week 4? I have to say, I watched Chelsea. And I'm going with Palmer, but I have tweeted about it a couple of times. He was in positions that are going to frustrate us this year. There will be games where Palmer is in the same positions that he blanked with all those games last year, and it will happen again this year. He will also hit a 25-point or a 20-pointer twice this season as well. But for that reason, I don't like captaining him.
I'd free hit him 4. I think if I went without Salah, I'd have to free hit him 4. You can't not have Salah captain. So I'd free hit him 4 if I had a no Salah draft.
Unless suddenly Wirtz looked incredible.
Exactly.
Want to put it on him.
So I guess what my concern is, I don't think the Haaland drafts are that much stronger. I don't think dropping Salah gets me quite as much as I would want. And it's just so much harder to pivot back to Salah if I get this wrong. Like, that was the issue I had last year, is as soon as you go without one of the big guns, getting back to them is just borderline impossible unless you take loads of hits or wild cards. So, and when I look back at that Salah draft, it's not bad. It's just a little bit short. I just need an extra like 0.5 million, which is the same for everyone, of course.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess what I want to say is I think no Salah is perfectly viable. I think Salah and Haaland is viable. I think one or neither. I don't think there is a clear... I don't really use models and algorithms, but I'd assume if you ran all 4 of them at the same time, I would hope that the EV isn't too different across the 4 drafts. I'd say probably I'd imagine the weaker one is both, just because that's a lot of your money, because they also like Palmer, etc. Yeah. So, but I would say a Salah, a Haaland, or a neither would probably do equally on paper across the first few weeks.
So if you go with that Salah one, like you mentioned a free hit and 4, have you thought at all about when you're going to be using these extra chips, like when you triple captain in, free hit, bench boost?
Yeah, so I think wildcard between 10 and 13 is like a rough aim. I might go, I think 13 is the perfect week, but as a result, I might go a few weeks early to try and just catch it. I do this just to offset my wildcard slightly from the popular strategy to see if I can just get lucky. That's all it is, really.
It's just the City-Liverpool game.
A couple of years ago and it worked.
Exactly. Yeah. And I did it last year, you know, when I brought in Cunha. I've only mentioned it a couple of times, of course. But
you brought in Cunha?
I did. Do you not remember?
Before everyone.
That was before everyone did it,
So basically, I was ahead of the curve and I bought Cunha. But I did that because I offset my wildcard by 1 week and it allowed me to wait a week after his difficult fixture. And then so I think offsetting the wildcard's fine. So yeah, let's say wildcard 10 to 13. I then think bench boost, I'm just going to wait till AFCON when I sell Salah. I think it's the most likely thing, because when you sell Salah for AFCON, you're going to have the 5 free transfers and money's going to be a little bit
just
more.
A small window. I guess that's the only caveat.
It is. And again, that's the Christmas 16. Period.
I don't want to use my transfers on the bench boost.
I'm only going to probably use like maybe maximum 1 or 2. But again, that's at Christmas time. Midweek deadlines.
But then are you going to upgrade players on your bench and then you have to take them back out again?
No, I'm probably going to play a really suboptimal bench boost. But last year, everyone's bench boost got 10 or 11
But then
points.
why do you need to wait until...
I got 2, I think. -2.
Oh, yeah, didn't
got someone sent off.
Yeah. No, Burn scored 9.
Oh, he scored 9 goals.
Yeah, Burn got -2
Wan
points.
Bissaka missed his first game of the season. It's like the worst bench boost of all time.
This is what I'm saying. So anyway, there's no plan for the bench boost. Wildcard 10 to 13. I think triple captain, I'll just play it in a week where someone's got a good fixture. I'm not planning that.
Game week 14.
Yeah, Sunderland. Is that
Sunderland at home.
Yeah, Salah. And then, so my plan right now, my only plan is maybe for the free hit. I think there are 3 weeks I'm looking at. Game week 3, where Arsenal and Liverpool play against each other, if I go heavy on them.
Yep.
Game week 4, where Salah's the best captain, if I go without Salah. And then if not, game week 6, where Haaland's the best captain, it will allow you to get Haaland and triple City against Burnley. So I think 3, 4 or 6.
Oh yeah, just on Burnley actually. Interestingly, I was looking at the market odds and they're kind of backing Burnley and Sunderland to be the whipping boys, and they're thinking or projecting Leeds to be slightly better. So like Estev's in literally every draft. But I've been looking at like Beale, Rodon, Goodmanson as a potential alternative. But
Leeds XGC was better than Burnley's last season.
It was.
Yeah, exactly. There's just like massive overperformance from Burnley.
Trafford and Melia,
I'm looking at them.
Yeah.
Like, are you two planning to start Estev game week 2?
Yeah, at the moment.
You are, but Harry's not.
I kind of have to because my defense
who's in my
stinks
defense?
This feels a bit mad.
I know. I play Van
it's
Dijk,
not
Williams,
terrible.
and I'd probably play Richards at home to Forest over him.
Yeah.
So if you're not playing Esteve in game week 2, I think is what you're saying. Maybe
But
go
then
for a Leeds defender.
You made that point about, didn't you just say Palace have got like midweek games?
So maybe I wouldn't play Richards. Maybe I would play.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess if you're not playing Esteve in game week 2, maybe look at Rodon, Goodmanson, Bijol.
That's where I'm at. I'm like, need to look at that and
What
really
about
decide.
one of the Bournemouth defenders if they don't sign someone? Hill, 4 million. He's got Wolves at home.
It's
in
just
game
not
week
worth
2.
the risk, I don't think. Unless, again, if you're bench boosting and you think there's a chance he plays game week 2. There's Hoover, Henry Hoover, the 4 million Wolves player that's playing right wing back. But a lot of Wolves fans said he should be nowhere near the starting 11. So
Yeah.
Okay. Right, so there are our drafts. Obviously, a lot of stuff's up in the air. Definitely reserve the right to change our minds across the next few days. So, guys, FPL Therapy continues to be sponsored by Club, which is the wonderful free-to-play fantasy football mobile game who've been supporting FPL Therapy for over a year now. Not only am I obviously playing Club, but FPL Harry is playing Club as well this season. He is very, very heavily involved himself. So you'll be able to see his team in a second, and he's going to meet with Manny as well as I. But if you are wondering what this is basically like fantasy football crossed with Football Manager, crossed with FIFA, where you essentially own a club and try and build that up by upgrading your facilities and your stadium. But you also do meets with the agent to try and get the best possible players. So you have the fantasy football element, but so much more than that. I'm also in the game. I'm probably one of the worst people for you in terms of what I can actually do to help you. But when you first download the game, you'll come across me as the director of football. I help you to get more club coins. But I think what you really need in this game is cash. So I'm going to meet with Manny.
Yep.
Then you're going to meet with Manny.
All right, you go first.
Who do you think I'm going to get? We'll do a little guessing game. It could be literally any Premier League player. So it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, see, I mean, I got a good player as my last pack. I got Doku earlier. So I'm expecting a bad player from this one.
So who do you think I'm going to get first then? I'm going to go Adam Wharton.
I mean, I've got loads of Palace players, so I'm going to go Mateta.
Okay, so we both think a Palace player. Community Shield relevant.
Yeah.
Okay, so base, this will tell you it's the rarity. Core, please don't be a core again. Rare, hey, a decent one on
Same
camera.
as Mateta.
A rare goalkeeper.
No.
Fulham, is that going to be Leno?
You've actually got a goalkeeper.
I know, goalkeepers are really, really rare to get in club. Okay, I won't immediately accept because I actually have Sanchez and I had Henderson as well. So
can you give me one of your goalkeepers?
I'll decide later. Right, we're going to switch over to Harry's phone. We use the same guesses. We think you're both going to get, we think a Palace player.
I mean, I'd take a goalkeeper because currently I've got Kelleher as my only goalkeeper.
Yep.
Who I had to go on loan.
Yep.
So he only has one game and he's flagged.
Nice. So you need a goalkeeper.
Yeah, and the only other goalkeeper I've had during preseason is Ortega. So here we go.
Okay.
Base.
This is going to stink, isn't it? I can feel it.
Yeah. Core.
No, rare. Get in the league. Go on.
Forward.
I've got a lot of forwards.
I've got so many forwards. That's the only thing. Everton.
Enjoy. It is. Iliman Enjoy.
Is it? Wow.
Yeah, that's a decent shout.
In my game week 1 team at the moment.
Yeah, no, that's very. Well, I've actually got him in my starting 11. I've had to bench Watkins as a result. Like, I've got Njai Kudus, Pedro Watkins.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm going to drop for him, but I definitely am going to take him.
Anyway, we could probably talk about this and play all day. So if you want to check it out, there will be a link down below to check it out. Please do use that link rather than searching for Club just on the App Store because it helps me out massively. So use that link to download. Once you've downloaded it, Harry and I both have leagues on there as well. On your screen right now and linked in the description, you will see our code. So use the link to sign up. Once you're signed up, just copy those 2 codes in to the league section. Join both of our leagues and see if you can beat us this season. And I'll be interested between the 2 of us. Maybe we'll create a little private league.
Yeah.
See who comes out on top. But at the moment, I think our squads are pretty equally balanced.
Yeah, I've got a lot of players against newly promoted teams for Game Week 1. So it looks good. And then just stacked with Palace for the rest of the season.
Fantastic. All right, cool. Yeah, give it a download. And if you do download it, let me know you're getting your starter squad. So we'll just answer now just a few other questions that people send in. I've just got a list. There's some of them we might have answered already, but we'll just kind of clear it up. So why are more people not considering Saka? Even without the pens, potentially. We don't know. He might still be on pens, but Jokere's good. He's one of the better captains in Game Week 2, and you might not captain Palmer in the first 5 weeks. I think there's a chance you do captain Palmer, but I looked at it and I don't think he's the standout in any of them.
Yeah.
And definitely Saka is, for me, the standout in 2. If I had Saka, I'd absolutely captain him in 2.
Yeah.
So if you wouldn't desperately need to captain Palmer, but you would love to captain Saka in 2, I don't know if you watched his most recent preseason game.
Yeah, he's brilliant.
Unbelievable. That's a better performance than I've seen from Palmer in preseason. Is Saka being overlooked?
A little bit. I just think the fixtures are better for Palmer. Like he's undoubtedly on pens, and I think when you compare them side by side, I'd say Palmer's probably just better for at least the opening however many game weeks until the wild card, perhaps. But yeah, I definitely overlooked. Like, Saka's brilliant. I really, really rate him highly, and I think he'll have, if he stays injury free, he'll have a 200+ point season easy.
Harry, you said in your latest video actually that you're not as set on Palmer as some other people. If you were to omit Palmer, would it be for Saka?
No.
Oh, okay.
I would take the money. I'd go down to Verts and do a lot of those upgrades. Like, I'd put it into my defense and things like that. I think if I'd go, I think Saka's a good option, but if he loses even more pen share than maybe he's already lost with handing them out, he's losing some set pieces with Declan Rice starting to take a few of them as well.
Annoyingly, we've had 2 pens in pre-season, but Saka and Gyökeres have both been off the pitch.
Yeah. I saw that.
Oh God, took it.
Yeah.
So 10 million's fine, but I agree. I think the opening fixtures are good, and I don't think Salah's a bad captain in game week 2 against Newcastle. They've looked horrible during the season. Like
they're looking unsettled, aren't they?
Yeah,
the whole Isak thing overshadowing.
I'm fully on board with Salah captain game week 2, which then
I'm not going to be able to go without Salah. I don't think whenever I'm captain him in game week 1 and 2.
Or game week 1 against that Bournemouth defence. I could play for them, it looks like at the moment.
I'm going to clip that and put that on TikTok. I'm going to get roasted. Okay, next player. Is this player being overlooked? Marmoush. Obviously, I think since joining City, only Gvardiol has played more minutes than Marmoush for City, other than obviously goalkeeper. But that's pretty incredible. You'd imagine, obviously, they look like they might be selling Savinho to Spurs. Not that they play in the exact same position. Bernardo Silva getting older. You're not expecting Gundogan to play as many minutes. So, like, Shirky Foden, there's a good chance they start through the centre of the pitch. Marmoush could be pushed out to the left or the right. I just think Marmoush's minutes probably will be pretty secure. His underlying data's good.
Was I right that Foden wasn't in the squad either?
Yeah.
He wasn't, but I think, again, it wasn't serious.
And Foden were the two. I think Foden's potentially more serious than Gvardiol.
I think
Gvardiol's was just like tiredness or something like that, right? Recovery.
So even more then is
Foden, I think, potentially more of a problem. But I think Pep was quite vague, as he often is. You know, it's just said something about an issue.
I think if you told me that Verts and Foden were within 10 mins of each other for like their actual mins they'll get.
Marmoush.
Verts and Marmoush. I would go Marmoush. I think Marmoush is a better pick than Verts with similar mins. It's like, how much is that disparity in mins though? Because Verts is going to get very good mins. Verts could even be pretty much a 90-minute man. And
also taking some set pieces as well.
Exactly. But is Marmoush also potentially close to being a 90-minute? We've seen Foden in the past. There was that 2 seasons ago. He played 10 90s in a row and was then benched 3 in a row. But I do think Marmoush could be highly underrated at that sort of 8.5 price. We're all talking about Bruno versus Verts.
I think it's difficult to say. It's a gamble on the minutes. Like, they've priced him like if he will be a 90-minute man. I think 8.5 is quite a lot for that potential for him not to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd rather Verts for the same price game week 1.
Yeah.
Okay. Next question. This is more just sort of a general question. Should we be worrying about fixture clashes? So, like, I've had this debate myself, and I know the correct answer is no. And if you look at algorithms, they'll tell you to play a bench boost, and you've got 8 players clashing against you. They don't care. They're just looking at just each player in isolation. But it does suck sometimes when I put together a draft where I had Sanchez, Palmer, Munoz, Sarr, so immediately a double clash. I then had Evan-Ilson and Van Dijk. And I looked at that and I was like, there is no way all of those players get points. It's just impossible.
Yeah.
The other issue, you find it a lot if you pick Palace players. Because they play Chelsea game week 1.
And then
Forest game week 2. And then Villa game week 3. So if you've got a Palace defender, you're probably playing them against attacker and an outfield player at least probably in all 3 of the opening weeks.
Does that matter? And I don't know that there is a correct... Well, I guess the correct answer is no, it doesn't, because you're picking the player for them.
It's the upside, isn't it? Like... It depends how much you want to chase the upside potential. If you completely avoid it and then everything goes perfectly how you want.
Yeah, you're putting all your eggs in one basket.
You get the clean sheets against the attackers you would have had and so on. Your attackers score against the defenders you didn't go for. Then that's like massive, massive upside. It depends how much you want to chase that swing. I think it's okay. I think we're going to have to get used to it because of the defensive contributions as well. Like in those on paper tougher fixtures against attackers in our team, there's still potential for both to get some points.
I think we'll end up starting defenders with tougher fixtures quite happily this season. Yeah. I think Praz said as well in the first episode of FPL Therapy that it might mean that if you get an injury to your attacker, you don't change them immediately because you've just got a defender who, even if they've got a tough fixture, they might just get you a couple of points anyway.
There's this guy on Twitter, Tom Hadley.
Wait, Tom Hadley. Tom's sponsoring the podcast, apparently.
Love you, Tom. He actually messaged me last night because I used his graphics in one of my videos.
He better be watching.
He did analysis, and unsurprisingly, against the tougher teams, that's when you're likely to get the DEFCON points because you're having to defend more. So, it's a difficult one.
Interestingly, that doesn't apply for midfielders, though.
Yes.
Really?
That is interesting, isn't it?
Because because midfielders rely so much on recoveries that the opposition losing the ball all the time is
point.
really good for recoveries for midfielders.
And the worst teams are more likely to lose the ball.
Whereas if you play against a City, actually, because they keep the ball so much, you don't get as many recoveries.
That's a really interesting point. Okay.
Interesting.
Awesome. I think we sort of semi-discussed this, but who are your favourite midfielders and forwards 6.5 or below? So we'll start with Harry. So not Strand Larsen, not Njai. So let's say, 6 million and below. Is there anyone that stands out to you? Let's start with forwards. Like if you had to pick a 6 million and below, is it Fulkrug?
I'd go Fulkrug over Thiago. Okay. But I do wonder about the West Ham fixtures. They're
not that great.
Sunderland on the opening day is good, but you are away at Sunderland being back in the Premier League, and that stadium's going to be absolutely rocking. And then from game week 2 onwards, I just don't think they are as good as it looks.
They're not really. Well, they don't even look that great. Yeah, Chelsea, Forest, Spurs, Palace, Everton, Arsenal.
Yeah. Exactly. So this is why I don't have a West Ham defender, because if they don't keep a clean sheet in game week 1, they're going to be 4.3 by the end of that.
30% owned, most owned defender.
Yeah.
If Sunderland
that's got a price. That's got a price drop.
It's happening, isn't it? Like a Dingery probably not even a Dingery, but someone random no one's got will score 10 minutes into that game.
Or Wan-Bissaka gets a 15 pointer. We look like idiots.
Yeah, true.
Okay, so Fulkrug for you, probably Thiago for you.
Yeah, is that just forwards? Yeah, Thiago.
Forwards. Okay, and then midfielders. Who are you feeling for midfielders?
Tielemans.
Okay, Tielemans. Proper model algorithm pick. Was that?
I'm going to Rutter at Brighton.
Oh, okay. He's been playing. So
that's a great shout.
So Brighton have been playing a lot of double games, haven't they? Where they've got an A team and a B team. It almost looks like. And why does Welbeck keep playing the B team?
It's really weird. He got asked about it, and he said they can play together, so it's not a. And he has been good in pre-season, and even if he doesn't play up front.
Is it Matt O'Reilly is that who it is that's been playing really well in the 10 role though? And that worries me because that would be where.
Yeah, he was. But he's only 6 million, and Welbeck's 34, so he's not getting any younger. But Herzler was asked about it, and he said they're not competing. That just could be manager talk. Okay. But he's really versatile. Like he can play as a 10, a 9, he play right wing. So
Ruter's got.
I really like that. He's got a lot going for him, Ruter. Yeah, I think he'll have a good season.
I like that. And who are you going for? So Tielemans, Ruter, Thiago, and Fulkrug.
Yeah. I mean, we haven't mentioned any of the 5.5s. When you start to add in Anderson and Reinders.
At their price.
And Arias as well.
And Adingra.
Arias, I think if you can bench him in game week 1 or you think they'll score against City, I like Arias. But there's a chance, by the way, I was speaking to FPL Blackwolf. He said there is a chance he takes pens. Small chance, Arias.
Well, I don't understand why people think Strand Larsen's going to take them.
He's not got a great... doesn't even take them in the past, does he?
He hasn't taken them since 2021 when he was in the under 21s.
So maybe Arias is on pens, corners and free kicks.
Is that true?
Yeah. And... Arias has 9
Oscar's
out of 12.
fact checking you right
He also
now.
took one. I looked at it. Look on.
No, I'm sure it's right. It's just interesting, isn't it? Because
and Arias
only
is 9 out of 12, and it took one in the Club World Cup as well.
Yeah, so maybe Arias is a decent shout then. Okay, whilst Oscar's fact checking, favorite sort of 7.5 forwards. Then are we still just about in the João Pedro camp? Any chance that you move to a Mateta or someone like that instead? Or do you think
he's only scored 3 in his career? So,
Arias or Strand Larsen?
Strand Larsen, and like Harry said years ago. Yeah. Sorry, carry on.
7.5 forwards. Do you think it would be João Pedro if you go for one, or do you think there's any chance you switch to a Wood if Solanke looks fit this Wednesday when they have their Super Cup game?
Apparently he's in the squad.
He's in the squad. There you go. So let's say Solanke starts the scores against PSG.
Yeah. Oh, don't.
Because Solanke
I just filtered it down to João Pedro and Mateta.
Because my first draft on YouTube, I don't know if yours do, I had Solanke in there.
Oh, yeah. Straight.
So if he does play,
mine, but I just don't know if I'll have him anymore. No. The thing is, he's missed the last, I think, 4 squads, Solanke. So that puts me off a bit for game week 1 even. Is he going to just come and get 90? I guess he could do more than enough in an hour. But it's a bit worrying for him to miss that many games and just come back right at the very end against PSG as well. So I think it would be Mateta or João Pedro if I'm going for one.
Mateta's really interesting me.
But it's like you said, it's the whole attacker versus defender thing. It's
I know, game week 1, I'm playing him against Sanchez. Game week 2, I'm playing him against Williams. Game week, I don't have Konza anymore.
Yeah, if you have Konza, it's like 3 clashes in 3 weeks. So it just feels like there's downside there. But that's where I'm at. And
I think people have negative memories of Mateta from the end of last season, where he was just getting 50 minutes every game.
Yeah.
That makes me a little bit wary.
Back-to-back doubles and all that.
Of course, they play midweek of 1 and 2 and 2 and 3. Now, we don't know who they're playing yet. And it might not need him. But Nketiah's injured, isn't he?
Oh, is he?
I think he got injured in pre-season. I think it has to be Mateta.
I do love Jean-Philippe Mateta. Funnily enough, actually, alongside Cunha, I actually bought Jean-Philippe Mateta ahead of the curve as well.
I think we should.
Oh, no way, did you?
Well, yeah, Nketiah
visionary.
Apparently has a hamstring strain.
Okay, interesting.
That's not great. Don't even know who have they got then.
Well, exactly.
There's someone I'm not thinking of.
So probably will be.
So we're all going to have Mateta, is that what we're saying?
Top.
Well, no, but it means that Mateta has to play in the Conference League.
Did you see Salah's penalty was half bad, by the way?
We don't add another Palace penalty.
If Mateta and Eze aren't on the pitch somehow together at the same time, Ismaila Sarr could step up and maybe score a pen. Right, so what we're going to finish with is some quick fire questions. I'll alternate between the two of you. These we've probably answered already, but just sort of short, quick. You can go anywhere between sort of 1 word and 5 seconds as your answer. Are we good to go?
Yeah.
Harry, who are your 3 favourite 5.5 midfielders in order?
1, Anderson at Forest, 2, Reinders at City, and 3, Arias at Wolves.
Perfect. Oscar, Salah, Haaland, both, neither.
Salah.
After that, if you have to go for a different one?
Both.
Okay. Harry, Wirtz or Bruno if you can only choose one?
Bruno.
Oscar, who's your favourite 7.5 forward?
João Pedro.
Harry, who is the best 6 million premium defender?
Van Dijk at the moment, but I'm wondering if none of them are worth it.
And then finally, Oscar, who are your 3 favourite 4.5 defenders in order?
I like Van de Ven, Gray for rotation, and Anderson. Oh, there's so many though. It's really tough.
Decent. Perfect. Awesome. Right, guys.
That's it. That flew by. How long was that?
Well, I think it was about an hour. We'll see in a second. But I think, it was a slightly shorter one. But I think we just need to get to the grit of it. To
people just want to see. I could have gone for another hour.
Yeah, I know. We've got.
What do you want to talk about?
And just carry on to it.
Let's look at that no Salah draft again and have another go.
Just convince Ross to ruin his team at the start of the season. If you do want more content, if you're thinking I could have gone for a bit longer as well, then do make sure to check out Harry and Oscar's channels. I'll obviously link them down below. But just search for FPL Harry or FPL Focal on YouTube. And you're still on podcast platforms as well, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Still the FPL Focal app. Sign up to FPL Raps.
There we go. You know, let you do a little plug. What's your app, Oscar? Talk to us.
What? I'm honestly, it's been mental. So I made this app like a year ago and I didn't expect it to be much, but about 240,000 people use it now.
Wow.
It's free in the App Store if you want to use it. It's got stuff like bonus points, live rank, price changes.
Awesome.
Market odds, articles, all sorts of goodies. So yeah.
I'll link that down below as well. So 4 things to check out. Harry's channel, Oscar's channel, FPL Wrapped, our new free newsletter, also the premium version as well. And then the FPL Focal app too.
It's going to be such a good season. I can't wait.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, and I can't wait to be 5 million after getting 3 when I've dropped Salah from that draft. Okay, guys, thank you very much for watching and listening. Until next time.